Welcome to another episode of Discussions with Sadistic Pixel. The point of these videos is just every now and then we like to get together and talk about small topics. And me, John, and Trevor decided to get together and talk about our new favorite show, or one of them.
Yeah.
The spinoff to Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, and our predictions on what we think the season finale is going to be and the future of the show. So, Trevor, get us started.
Okay, so we all know the season finale is coming up here Monday night, and personally, I think the first season has been great. I've loved every episode of it, and I can't wait to see what the future of the show is. We've been talking about what we think, is going to happen on this season finale, and I started off thinking that, this is going to be the episode where he's going to change his name from Jimmy to Saul, and it very well may be. But I'm actually starting to think that it may not be. I don't listen to it specifically myself. I have a few of them, but the Better Call Saul Insider podcast, they release one after every new episode, and they do the same thing for Breaking Bad, where some of the writers get together and just talk about just kind of commentate, the show, some of the Easter eggs in the show. Like one of my favorites was the episode where Jimmy was ripping off HHM's billboard and getting fitted for his suit. If you noticed in the background, Gus's suit was in the back. His yellow shirt with his tie.
Was it?
I
didn't notice that.
I didn't notice it either until I heard it on the podcast. But I thought that was just really neat. So you hear stuff like that on there. And our friend Zach Davis was telling me that he listened to the most recent one, which I have not yet, where Vince was talking about the evolution into Saul, and how he's actually having a lot of fun playing him as Jimmy right now, and showing the most backstory he possibly can. So that kind of leads me to believe that I actually don't think he's going to become Saul in this next episode. Now I'm not going to say I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, but or happy, because the show is called Better Call Saul, and I'm ready to see that lawyer that we all know and love, But at the same time, I'm enjoying what I'm seeing now. So, other than that, it looks like, from what I saw from the preview, that he's going back to was it Illinois?
Yeah.
I
think Chicago.
Where he's gonna relapse back into Slippin' Jimmy after his falling out with Chuck on the most recent episode.
Yeah.
So, but that's I don't know what's gonna happen. Other than that, but so what do you guys think?
All right, on the Mike side of things, I definitely think for sure that they're setting up for Mike to get involved with the breakup or like drug control. Like this is the drug territory war between Tuco and what's his name, the Hispanic guy, and
the guy that bought the pills on this episode.
Yeah, the last episode.
Nacho.
Yeah, because they're partners, and he was buying the pills behind Tuco's bag, and I think that's going to set up for something for next season. And I think Mike's going to get involved in that somehow, but he may not.
Right.
I think Mike's going to be the crime part of the show, and Saul's going to be the lawyer part of the show, and I'm sure they'll cross paths.
Oh yeah.
A lot. I love the way they're doing that because it keeps people intrigued. Because people who want like big, I don't know, crime things to happen, and you're gonna get the Mike side of things. The picture, the more action oriented.
Yeah.
You like the good build up, the slow build up, and that's what the Saul point of view is gonna be. And I think on his side, I can see it two different ways. I can see Saul taking the settlement, or Jimmy taking the settlement, and then at the last episode's him buying his small office in Albuquerque and setting himself up as Saul Goodman. Or I think he's gonna go to Illinois, have a relapse, and then go back home and take on Chuck in this case. And I think he might wind up teaming up with the people that he gathered all that evidence against. I can see something like that happening where he's trying to help out the other lawyers against HHM and Chuck and all that. So, and I think Kim will wind up helping Jimmy out. But
I hope so. I do not want there to be a falling out between.
Well, there
Kim
will be
and Jimmy.
eventually.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I was about to say, because in Breaking Bad,
there's no mention, but Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think that each season we're gonna have like a little open, kind of like they did with the last season of Breaking Bad, where like the first episode of each like season opener showed Walt a year in the future. The first episode of Better Call Saul was Saul in the future.
Yeah.
You know, after he'd gone into witness protection, working at Cinnabon.
Yeah.
I think
Which
each,
was awesome.
Yeah, it was
Perfect
very
way to
awesome.
open that show up.
I think each season we might get little details of what he's doing after
Yeah.
his life,
Yeah.
and then maybe the last season or so it will be set in the future.
Which I think would be great.
But they're doing a great job. Like, I am so impressed with how well they've been handling the spinoff show, and I hope they can keep it going for. I hope it's another 5-6 season show like Breaking Bad was, and they just keep telling good stories, because I mean it's really is amazing how well they're doing. So
Yeah, I think it'll work.
well, John, what are your predictions?
Just the way it looked with a preview,
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll go into Saul, because that's where he came up with that joke. Was back when there was
Saul
Cayman.
Goodman. Yeah, I
Saul
love
Goodman.
that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if like maybe something will happen where he'll be like, I can't be associated with Chuck anymore because
Right.
Screw
and
him.
Hamlin was
And-
already putting the pressure on to change his name from, his last name from McGill, because it's on HHM's.
So I don't know. I think that's kind of where we're heading right now, and I think with Mike, he's gonna start doing more of the
Fixer
yeah.
situations, and eventually I think he's gonna be seeing more of the Breaking, like when we see guest stars from Breaking Bad, it'll probably be involved with Mike more than Saul.
Yeah, I think that. I think you even mentioned this last night, was that this is setting up for his meeting with Gus.
Everyone's expecting that, so it's going to be a big thing when it happens.
And I could really. I don't know if Gus will be a big part of Better Call Saul, but I think that it'll be kind of like how Tuco is. There's going to be more of Tuco. There has to be.
I think Tuco is going to be a big character in season 2.
I do too. So, and I really hope that eventually they can do that with Gus. And he said it before. He wants the cameos from Breaking Bad to feel natural.
Yeah.
And I want them to. I don't want anything to be forced, because without it right now, the show is great. It's standing on its own 2 feet for me.
Yep.
And one of my biggest fears with Better Call Saul was that I was going to compare it to Breaking Bad, and not like it as much. But now, with season 1 almost concluded, I am comparing it to Breaking Bad, but it's standing on its own.
I think the first season of Better Call Saul has been better than the first season of Breaking Bad.
It has been. I agree with that 100%. And I think the future for that show is bright. As long as they stay kind of on the same path. Something else that you mentioned was that Breaking Bad writing
Yeah,
style.
they got
that they have.
the group of writers they got together. They're just such a good group of writers, and I think that just benefits every viewer of the show. And I think that we should just be excited where that show is going to be headed. So, yeah.
I mean, I'm excited to see where it leads us because it's awesome. I love every.
Yeah, I love it too. You guys should see my dad last week freaking out when he made the connection that it was Chuck that was actually the bad guy, not Howard. I mean, Howard is a bad guy, but and that was another thing, was that Chuck wasn't even supposed to be the bad guy until they decided to make Chuck the bad guy in episode 7. Like, it was originally going to be Howard, but they decided to go with Chuck instead.
I bet,
and I think that worked out a lot better.
I bet Jimmy and Howard will have to wind up working together, because I bet Chuck's going to take over that law firm and Howard's going to hate it. And
Yeah.
something like that will happen.
That part where Jimmy's sitting in there and he's like, Howard, I know you hate me. The feeling goes both ways.
That
Yeah.
was such a good scene. But yeah.
Yeah, that whole scene was awesome. It's like,
Slipping Jimmy with a law degree is like what was it, a monkey with a machine gun?
Yep.
Yeah, that was such a good line.
Yeah, that show is going to get nominated for a lot of Emmys, and I think everybody should be excited for that show, and I'm excited. I know you two are excited.
Yeah, any Breaking Bad fan, you owe yourself to watch Better Call Saul. I mean, it's literally more Breaking Bad, just in a different way. It's so good.
And if you want to give us what you think is going to happen on Better Call Saul, leave a like, comment, all that fun stuff. We're just a bunch of geeks that like to get together and talk about silly, nerdy topics. Thank you for watching. I'm Justin. This is John, and this is Trevor. Peace out.